Practice test, chapter 5, 5, no, chapter 12, silly goose. First one, assume that the lines that appear to be tangent are. If I'm dealing with angles, remember if it's tangent, that means this right here is a 90-degree angle. So, and it also says angle 12, or angle P is 12. So now I have a right triangle. Remember, it's only 90 degrees if you have the center with the radius. That's very key. Only with the radius do you create a 90 degrees with a tangent line. So do 180 minus 90 minus 12, and you get 78 for the first one. Second one, in a picture like this, it says y, z is 8, x, z is 10. Make sure you read directions. A lot of people see the picture and be like, oh, that's just this little part, and I'm going to put this and this. No, the whole thing says that that is 10. And again, it's with the radius. The tangent line is radius, so that means this is 90 degrees. And in a right triangle, the special thing of a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Now, one thing that a lot of people have been getting confused is this is where my 90 degrees is. So this right here is my c. So if you solve that, 100 minus 64 and take the square root of that, it would be 6. That's my radius of my circle. Circle A is inscribed. So that means if those are all tangent, this will be 3, this will be 12, this will be 2.5, and this will be 7.5. So, if you add all those together, you will get B, 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 B. So angle 4 I did on the board if you weren't there. That's too bad. Look over the problem, look over the colors, and the answer would be C. That's the one that's not correct. Now I'm looking at 5. No, I don't know why I have that purple highlighted, but it is, so get over it. First it says measure angle C, D, B. This angle right here is equal to 31. So I'm going to write that in. It says, what's the measure of angle C, A, B? So you look at C, A, B. Saying, what's this measure? Well, if you look at the angle that was given, and the angle I'm looking for, they subtend the same arc. If they subtend the same arc, that means these two angles are congruent, so angle B, or angle CAB is equal to 31 degrees. Question number 6. It says A, E, C, so I'm going to trace that in that order. A, E, C. This whole thing right here is equal to 295. 95. Also says angle A, C, E is equal to 81. Now one thing, when I see this angle that's given, I'm going to figure out what this purple arc is. 81 multiplied by 2 is 162. It's actually asking for a measure of angle DCE. So it's measuring this angle. So I have to figure out what this arc is. Well, I can do that with the information given. I can take the large arcs, 295, subtract the small arc, which is 162, and get 133. And now it's 2 times your angle is equal to your arc. So if you divide that by 2, 66.5. What's the measure of angle C? Thinking in my head, my angle that I'm looking for, the angle is on the outside. Angle on the outside, you have to subtract your arcs. Angle on the outside, subtract your arcs, divide by 2. So that would be 70 divided by 2 is 35. Says arc AB, whoopsie daisy, AB right here is equal to 46. Says arc CD is equal to 25. Find the value of x. I'm looking for my inside angle. Angle, it's arc plus arc divided by 2 will be equal to your angle. So if I do that by calculator or by your head, you get 35.5. Here's my picture. Find the measure of angle D. So first I see my angle's on the outside. My angle that I'm looking for is on the outside. It's telling you that angle B is equal to 53 degrees. Now I'm going to figure out what this arc is right here, because I can do that. 2 times angle is equal to arc, so 106. I also now can figure out what this arc is, because I could take 360 minus 106 and get 200, whoopsies, 254. And now, angle on the outside, it's large arc. subtract, angle on the outside, subtract a small arc, and divide by 2, and you would get 74 degrees. Dee. Last one, figure out what your center is. Whoops, my center. I am counting by 2s, so if I go over half, that means I went over 1. So I went over positive 1, I moved up 2, 4. I went up 4. So now I'm thinking it should say x minus 1 and x minus 4. So I know for sure it's not going to be these two. Boop. Now if I look at my radius, I went 2, 4, and a little 1. So it would be 5. My radius is equal to 5. Whatever it's equal to, it should be radius squared. So that would be c. So by looking at my equation, my center, gosh darn it, my center is negative 2 to negative 1, and my radius should be equal to 4. Because again, what it's equal to is radius squared, so I have to take the square root. And remember, it's always opposite, so if it says plus 2, it's negative 2. So first I'm going to figure out which one has the center negative 2, and again, I'm counting by 2s and down 1. This one has negative 2. This one has negative 2 down 1. So these two do not. So I know for sure it's not these. So I want to figure out which one has my radius of 4. So I have 2, 4, 6, no. 2, 4, yes, C. Next, going through that point, there should be more space here for you to solve this one. I already have my center. My center should be x plus 4, x plus 1. So I know for sure it's going to, why is that always happening? Not going to be these two. I have to figure out my distances. You have to use your distance formula. So I'm going to use my center minus x squared plus y minus y1 squared. So this will be the square root of negative 4 plus 6 is 2. 2 squared is 4. Negative 1 minus 9 is negative 10. 10 squared is 100. So if I add those together, my radius is square root of 104. But remember, when you do this, radius squared means that's going to be a. Because if I square the square root of 104, I get to my answer. Last but not least, it says AB is equal to 70. BC is equal to 50. What is CO? Those have to be congruent because they're radiuses. And if it's tangent, that means it creates a 90-degree angle. So that would be my C. And I have x squared for a squared. B squared equals, in parentheses, x plus 50 squared. Please do not make the mistake of not foiling. If you just distribute the squared, you're not going to get the correct answer. So you have x squared plus 70 squared be 4,900. And if I FOIL first, outside, inside, last, plus 2, 5, 0, minus my 2,500 minus my x squared from both sides. And I get 0, 0, 4, 2 is equal to 50x plus 50x is 100x. And again, I already subtracted this over. So now divide by 100. 24 is equal to x. Find the measure of angle BAC. If I want to figure out what this angle is, I need to figure out what this arc is. A couple things while looking at this problem, I noticed that I'm given the center. If I'm given the center and the diameter, that means this is 180. I also know that if this is 66, this is 66. Again, this is 180, so I can figure out BC, arc BC, by doing 180 minus 66, and I get 114. Now, 2 times angle is equal to arc. So I have to divide by 2. I get 57. Angle A is equal to 57 degrees. Next, what is the measure of the intercepted arc? So what's the measure of this arc? It's saying that this angle right here is 155. So if this angle is, or arc is x, this arc out here is 360 minus x. So angle's on the outside. So it's large arc. Subtract small arc. Divide by 2 is equal to angle. So So first you multiply it by 2, so you have 360 minus 2x, because negative x and negative x gives you negative 2x, equals 310. Negative 2x would be equal to negative 50. X is equal to 25. Beep. Last one, and then we're done. Diameter is given. You have to first figure out what the center is. If you don't know what the formula or the distance for midpoints, you should write this down. It's when you add the two x's together, divide by 2, and you add the two y's together. It does not matter which one you have first. So if I add those two together, negative 10 plus 4 will give me negative 6, divide by 2 will give me negative 3. Negative 8 plus 4 is negative 4, divide by 2 is negative 2. So my center is this. Now using that center, and it doesn't matter which point I use, I have to find the distance so I can figure out my radius. I'm going to use negative 10 minus negative 3 becomes positive squared. And negative 8 minus negative 2 becomes positive 2 squared. So the square root of negative 10 plus 3 is going to give me negative 7 squared would be 49. Negative 8 plus 2 is 36, or 6 squared is 36. So I have the square root of 85. So my final answer here would be in parentheses x plus 3 because it's a negative 3 squared, y plus 2 because it's a negative 2 squared. It's equal to 85 because remember, it's your radius squared. So this would be my final. There you go. Now you can get an A on my test, and it'll be great. It'll be wonderful, and I'll be happy, so happy. Have a good one.